Pierre just made a political move that basically just ruined Jagmeet Singh's entire political career. It was an impressive move, and the timing is very important. And I've got a video today kind of setting up his move, why this makes sense now, and everything wrong Jagmeet is doing, how he's proving himself both a sellout and a coward, and not a serious political leader, not a serious politician. He should not be in charge. He's actively damaging the party by being in charge, in my opinion. And then we also have the Liberals continuing to double down on their lies. We have a few videos and a bunch of information to get through. Let's get into it.
This week, the Liberals wrapped up their three-day cabinet retreat, highlighting several key policy announcements like housing, immigration, and, of course, Canada-U.S. relations. All the while, Prime Minister Trudeau continues to face questions about his future. Joining me now to discuss is Tom Mulcair. He is our CTV News political commentator and the former leader of the NDP. Good morning, Tom. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
So the Liberal cabinet retreat has ended. A lot of conversation, though, still ongoing about Trudeau's political future. If he'll stay, if he'll go. What do you make of that?
Well, it was not unexpected for Trudeau. He was prepared for it. He knew he'd get a lot of questions about it. They were also anticipating the predictable questions about the comparison to the U.S. situation, where you got rid of someone in the person of Joe Biden, replaced him with Kamala Harris, and all of a sudden, boom, a lot of new energy and a lot of bumps in the polls for the Democrats. So that type of thing was being thrown at Mr. Trudeau.
And here's why I wanted to talk about this and get, this to set it up. Trudeau has lost so much support countrywide, coast to coast, that his own party's saying, hey, maybe you should step down. This is hurting us. So while this happened, Pierre goes, everybody's really mad at Trudeau right now, including who? Jagmeet Singh, who's been publicly bashing Trudeau, who's been publicly saying, oh, the Liberals are doing this or doing that, they're despicable leaders, blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, Pierre just called for something which we're going to get into. You're the one, keep in mind, this is why I wanted to set this up. He's lost the support of the public, of his own party, and of course the NDP. He's lost support of all of this, and that's important to remember.
Steadfast, because he has no choice. If he gave even the slightest indication that he was thinking of leaving, of course, he becomes a lame duck and he can't do anything anymore. His cabinet was really strong behind him. They spent a couple of days flailing because it was Groundhog Day. They went back to things that they had already started talking about at last year's retreat, which was housing, the crisis that was caused by the massive increase in the number of Canadians, 6 million people in less than 10 years without any.
All right, I want to stop you there. Massive increase in the number of Canadians. There's been a lot of bodies coming over the border. Not sure if they're instantly Canadian just because they crossed the threshold.
Planning for education and healthcare and housing. So Mr. Trudeau, is certainly his government is to blame for not seeing what that was going to cause. It's difficult for him to come up with an answer with that. He had a good idea, which is to make some federal land available, but Marcia, there's not a single garden shed that's going to be built on any of that land between now and the next election. So it's a very difficult thing for them to sell. At the same time, they were smart. At the end of that cabinet retreat, they started talking big picture.
If you liked the video yet, if you haven't liked the video, it's a small click for you and a free way to support the channel. It helps get these videos in front of more people, and we can help spread the message that we talk about here. And if you like what we talk about, feel free to subscribe. Love to have you on board. Back to the video.
They had our wonderful ambassador to the United States, Kirsten Hillman, in to talk about Canada-U.S. relations. So it was able to change the channel a little bit for them. But now reality is going to set in. He's got to meet with his entire caucus. They're going to be doing that in the Eastern Townships before they return to work in Ottawa. That return to work in Ottawa isn't going to be a big change from last year. I mean, Poilievre say, you can agree or not agree with his policies or his politics, but boy, is he dominant in question period.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to question period, Trudeau looks like a fool. If he doesn't have talking points, the guy can't handle himself. And Pierre, for all his faults, is very good when you hand him the microphone and you ask him to just riff. He's probably the best party leader at that right now. And so I wanted to set that all up, just talking about how the Liberals are limping along. They haven't changed anything even after the retreat, and they had all these groundbreaking ideas on everything that they're going to do. they don't have any more support after the weekend. So then Pierre makes this announcement, which I thought was perfect timing. Very smart play.
When you go into the grocery store and you're buying your groceries, you're spending more than ever before, and you're leaving with less than ever before. Again, that is after 2 years of Jagmeet Singh joining the Liberal government. So what's clear is that Singh did not join to bring down grocery prices or housing costs, both of which have skyrocketed since he joined this coalition. He joined to keep Trudeau in power so that he could get his pension. Jagmeet Singh is trying to delay the election until after February of next year so that he can qualify for a $2.2 million taxpayer-funded pension. That's why Canadians are calling him Sell Out Singh. My message to sell.
Yes, absolutely. He is a sellout, and he is doing damage to his reputation by keeping his cart hitched to the Trudeau horse. Because what's going to happen is, as Trudeau's legacy, which we know he has destroyed Canada through policies like the neglect, everything that has been done, Jagmeet is as culpable for those now. So his political career is going up in flames as, you know, he's getting called out on these things.
Sellout saying is this: put the people ahead of your pension. Break the costly coalition with Trudeau to trigger a carbon tax election where Canadians can choose between the costly coalition of the NDP Liberals that tax your food, punish your work, take your money, double your housing costs, and unleash crime and chaos in your community, or common sense conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Will you do anything else, Pierre? Potentially like cutting immigration? And one thing that I keep seeing is, you know, guess recently, I don't know if you guys have seen, the gas prices have been falling, and people online have been saying, oh, well, if gas prices are falling, can we say thanks, Trudeau, because you were mad that they went up? It's not that they just went up. It's that 35 cents per liter is just carbon tax. Carbon tax, which is a made-up tax that we're the only country in the world right now paying, and Trudeau is implementing that. So yeah, when gas was $1.45 and people were saying it was cheap, yeah, imagine minusing 35 cents per liter off of that price. So what is that, $1.10 we could have been paying?
If you're a billionaire, like the people Trudeau vacations with, then you don't have to worry about inflation because your assets are inflation-proof or even inflation-positive. You get richer. It's a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts.
All right, he's got it. Guys, can we all comment down below? Do you like the rhyming or do you hate the rhyming? Because personally, I find it kind of corny. You know, we all want him to win, but I find it kind of corny.
And you know what? It's ironic. It's all done with Jagmeet Singh's support.
Yep.
He can huff and puff all he wants, but he supported the inflationary policies that destroyed the wages of working class people, and he supports what Justin Trudeau did on the rail strike. Do you know how we know that? Do you know how we know that?
Do you support it?
No. Do you know how we know that Jagmeet supports it? Because he's still in a coalition with him. And if Jagmeet didn't support it, he would respond to my letter this afternoon and say he's pulling out of the costly coalition and he's going to vote to bring down Trudeau and cause a carbon tax election. That's what I'm calling for him to do today. Jagmeet saying, stop selling out the workers, stop being sellout Singh, put the people ahead of your pension, vote for a carbon tax election now.
The only way that Jagmeet could hope to salvage what's left of his legacy would be to call this election, because he has been called out so directly right now from this statement, and he is positioned better than ever to help call this election, which would then get Trudeau out of power, and obviously the Conservatives would win as of today if this were to happen. So Jagmeet, you are the one holding this up. This is your fault, and you are doing it over your pension. It is at the expense of the entire country. So we can all see this happening, and this is proven. This is a direct call out. He has called your bluff, Jagmeet. You have said Trudeau sucks. You won't call an election. You're a coward, and it's being shown. Your bluff has been called. And then, of course, we do have the Liberals continuing with their lies. I actually found this one pretty funny because She just straight up lies and then calls the Conservatives pathetic.
I think we need to really take these assertions by the Conservative leader with a very healthy grain of salt. The reality is, in recent weeks and months, we have had a steady stream of good economic news for Canadians. We have had inflation within the Bank of Canada's target range for 7 months in a row, down to 2.5% in July. We have had interest rates coming down twice, and market analysts forecasting they are going to continue to come down. We have had wages outpace inflation for 18 months in a row. And the recession that so many economists, so many analysts were predicting at the height of COVID hasn't materialized. It looks like Canada is going to achieve a soft landing with the second fastest growth in the G7 this year and forecast to have the fastest growth in the G7 next year. So
she lied about a ton of stuff. I'm not going to break down all of it, but the fact that she said that we avoided this recession, we have not avoided the recession. We are obviously in a recession. We can keep calling it a recession per capita, but you can pump all the fake numbers that you want. And then they keep saying that cutting rates is good economic news. It's not. Rate cutting is done because they need to stimulate a floundering economy, because our economy is slowing, unemployment is going up, businesses are not doing well. So to say, look, we cut the rates, and it's like, okay, and then don't even get me started on the inflation stuff, because again, had we not had mass immigration for this entire time, inflation already wouldn't have been the problem that it was. So that just found that hilarious there when she was saying, oh, we don't have a recession and we're going to do this. The other thing is, I don't know why they haven't updated her talking points. Like, she has no idea what's actually going on. This is our finance minister. But they need to update her talking points. If they are cutting immigration, like they talked about from their retreat, then we are not going to have the growth they're talking about.
Now, all of that for everyone here, that is really good news. That is good news for you in your life. It is good news for households and families across the country. But it turns out it is bad news for the Conservatives. And I think it's pretty pathetic that the good news, the good economic news that we are seeing for Canada and Canadians, the Conservatives feel is bad news for them. They can see that that good news is going to keep on coming. And I think they're a little bit worried about that. And maybe they should be.
Maybe they should be. Do you think it's possible, Freeland, that they are not nervous and it's not the bad news for them because it's good news for you? Do you think it's possible that they understand what numbers mean and that you guys are not only cooking the books, but also misrepresenting the data and then straight up lying to Canadians? If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You guys absolutely rock. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.